was the hardest thing to do. It was the right thing to do, and I'm proud of him that he did that.
What do you think it says that he was able to get this done in year one?
Well, I think for us, it's really about just making sure we stick to the plan. And it really was never a timetable. And Woody and I were talking on the way to this press conference. It's just sticking to the plan and not to get too high or too low. And so that's back to during this year, never to panic or second guess what we're doing, but just to stick to our overall plan of building the program. And that's what we're doing.
What are some of the things that just have impressed you about him most? I mean, in terms of whether you were expecting it or not, what stood out to you about the way he coaches, what he gets out of these guys, and how?
He's just, I said it at the press conference I introduced him, and I meant it then, and I see it every day. He's really, really a good person. And I think you have to start with that. And people feel it. He's genuine, he's authentic. You can see it at the press conference. And the kids feel it, so they buy in. They know he cares. He's tough. He's definitely disciplinarian, but he definitely is a good person. He's really authentic. And to me, that's what you have to start with that. And then beyond that, his X's and O's, everything I talked about at the press conference is everything that I expected and more.
When you first met him, how did you know he was a good person? Like, what did he do to kind of give you that impression?
Well, it's funny. I knew him, but the reality is I spent so much time on the phone talking to so many people. I mean, all over the gamut of college basketball, pro basketball, people in the community, and every single person I talked to, every person said you'll never find a better person than Mike Woodson. I mean, and they had no idea who else we were talking to or anything, but bar none, people just said he's one of the nicest people, just a genuinely good person. And that people didn't have to tell me that. I mean, they were being really real with that, and that resonated with me. That was a big deal.
A year ago, I asked Trace at this event, the team was booed off the floor and started the chain of events that led to this. What is it? I think the last 2 days mean to the IU program at large?
It means a lot. It means a lot. It really is a good indication that everyone is, I think Hoosier Nation is bought in. I think they feel it's more than, winning obviously is what's kind of created the atmosphere the past couple of days, but I think people feel that we're building a program. And I think our fans really want to do it the right way. Back to the Northwestern situation, everybody, we don't like those situations, but I think everybody respected the fact how we handled that and just another step in the right direction of building the program.
You're an Indiana basketball fan. What was going through your mind when Trace hit the free throw line? 26 seconds left.
I'm just so happy for him because I tell you, Trace is one of the nicest kids we've ever had here. I've been here a long time, and I'm not just saying that. I love Trace as a person. And he just really, I said to him after the game, because he could have, when we made the change last year, he could have jumped in the portal. He could have, he had lots of options. And, he stuck with us and he stuck with me. And I thanked him after the game, and I thanked him several times. I said, Trace, you're always going to be remembered as a person who really helped get the program back. And I really appreciate him personally sticking with us as we're going through the search and really in trying to build the program back. And I think he really feels good about being a part of the future.
The way the culture is now, how unusual is it? Because everybody's jumping right the first sign of adversity, they're out.
Yeah, I think it says so much about Trace, and he's just a leader. And you've seen him develop as a player, and I'll say the same thing about Race Thompson. I just love how they developed as leaders off the court, in the locker room. I don't think either of them, when they got here, are just natural leaders, but I think right now, if you see how far they've come, I just couldn't be more proud of them, for sure.
When you said Trace stuck with me, I mean, did you have conversations with him during the search? After, what were some things you tried to tell him? Just to say, hey, just give this a shot.
Yeah, first of all, I wanted to get feedback from the players and what was important to them, but secondly, just to give us a shot and see where we end up here. And then I told them that I wanted to make certain that we hired a person that they would feel good about, and just to trust me, and he did, and I really appreciate that. I like I said, I just said that to him in the locker room. I'll always be grateful for what Trace did and sticking by us.
Did you view him as key to making the transition work? I mean, did you look at this and saying, man, this is a tougher job if you don't stick around?
It wasn't I didn't feel like it was a deal breaker, but I definitely, let's put it like this, when he said he would stay, Woody and I had a nice celebration about it. That was a big deal. That was a big deal. It was a big deal. But with all the players, we always support them and didn't put any pressure on them with him or anything. We just wanted to make certain he knew that we want the same things he wants for him and for the program.
As you've got to know Mike Woodson more, what do you just enjoy about working with him?
like I said earlier, he's just such a really, really good guy. He doesn't get too high or too low. And, I'll give you an example. When we lost the game at Purdue, I walked with him after the press conference, tough loss. And we were walking, just the two of us, and there were several stadium workers, security staff from Purdue who were sitting along the way. And he stopped and said hi to all of them, shook their hands, and they were all saying, hey, good luck the rest of the year. And he got that engaging personality. It says a lot about Purdue staff, how nice they were to him, but also at the same time it just says so much about him. After a tough loss, you won't find many coaches who are saying goodbye to the staff and thanking them for their help. And I just, there are little things like that to me just go a long way, because it's important how we treat people, because people know who's genuine and who's not, and he's as good as they come.
It seems like one thing the guys have talked about is that he sort of maintains faith in them, especially when they have bad games, when they make mistakes, or even after the Northwestern thing, he's sort of maintained faith in these guys. How have you seen that? How important do you think that is to his personality and how he connects to his guys?
Yeah, trust is everything. I don't care what you're doing, in what business, or whether it's coaching or whatever you're doing. If you're in the media, and I think that no matter what, he said he had a tough halftime talk with Trace yesterday, but I know there's a trust there, and I know Woody and I have complete trust in each other. And I think trust is the basis of really building the program, and obviously doing the things that we want to do to move things.